started beginners, they're thinking, grind, grind, grind. They get up there, they're nervous, and maybe the first time they've approached the belt, they're going, okay, I gotta grind it, I gotta grind it, I gotta grind it, and grind! And all they've done is knocked a big gouge down the side of the blade. Okay? Feel the grind before you grind. You don't have to be grinding every time you touch that belt. Feel the grind. Walk up. Okay. There it is. There's the flat. I'm on there. I'm not removing any metal at all, but I feel the flat. I'm comfortable. Now I'm ready to apply pressure and grind. Find it, apply the pressure, and pull it all the way across. When you get to the edge, number 2 beginner's mistake that happens every time. They get to the edge and go and burn that tip right off their knife. Stop. I want you to look at this die-chem pattern. Learn where to grind and where not to grind until the very end. Save things for different phases. This is where my actual shoulder, my plunge cut for the shoulder of the blade is going to go. Look how far out I'm actually from that right now while I'm grinding. I don't need to go there now. Save that for later. Look where I'm at in relation to the spine. I'm nowhere near the spine yet for most of the width of this blade. And look where I'm at the tip. I actually lighten up and stop grinding at the tip. Leave it thick, particularly on a fighting style knife, a dagger, something like that, a reinforced tip. You don't want to grind this thing down paper thin. It's just going to snap the tip off. Leave it thicker, and then later you can come in and blend that in. But if you start grinding on it now, you will lose control of it when you first start out grinding. And once again, the death of this thing is to get to the end and just sort of zip it off like that, because you're actually flipping the tip across the belt as you leave it, and you burn the tip off the knife. So you can see that from here to here is where I've ground. And that's where I'm going to continue to grind until I've established this grind line. But you've got to get brave, establish that grind line so you have a flat track to ride on. If you do this, the flat grind is about it might be the more difficult of all the 3 grinds. A convex grind, I just ride up here all the time and just roll it on. It's not an issue. A hollow grind, you find that how you get in that wheel and you feel it. People say, well, what do you know about hollow grind? I do fullers on 8-inch wheels on the migration period. Well, not my migration period, it doesn't have to, but the Viking age, style sorts of stuff. I'll get a 3-foot hollow grind down the center of the blade. It's not that hard because that wheel will find that track once you establish it and ride in it. It's the same thing with a flat grind. You have to establish that track and then find it every time and ride on it. Now, along with that, and this is another thing that I recommend or point out when I'm doing the demos, and it's early on so I can do this without destroying my grind. Grinding's not just a matter of feel. It is a lot of feel, but all of your senses are engaged. You're looking down, you're seeing where you're going, you're feeling it. Sometimes you're smelling it if something's really bad. But your ears, I want you to listen. If you can hear this, okay, nice and smooth, I'm where I want to be. Now I'm going to apply pressure. Still nice and smooth where I want to breathe. Now listen. Did you hear that? It hissed at me. It's because I got off the grind. I was off my grind line. And it told me instantly. It got really raspy and ugly sounding. It sounds smooth as silk when you're on the grind line. Let your ears help you. All of your senses are engaged with the grinder. So much so, my family knows never to come into the shop and say, hey, or interrupt me when I'm grinding. I'm going to install a light near my grinder. It's got to happen because I'll get toned for the fire department, and the pager was up at the house. They need to let me know right now, but they know never, ever, ever walk up to me and say, hey, when I'm at the grinder, because I'm so engaged, a knife will go flying across the room and somebody will get hurt. So a light right there flashing would be really helpful. But literally, I'm totally engrossed in what I'm doing. All of my senses are involved. But once again, start here, find the grind line. You don't have to grind yet. Find it, then apply. When you're ready, apply your pressure and grind. And lighten up at the tip. And you notice another thing I'm doing is I'm starting here, going all the way across and stopping. Every time you reverse direction, you can't see it, you can't feel it, but every time you reverse direction, you rock this blade and the edges of the belt cut gouges down the side of the blade. Okay, Kevin, gee, right here, you got this big thing with all these pits and stuff. You got to grind that more. Wouldn't you stop and go back and forth? No. The way to do that and keep it smooth is find your grind a little faster with no pressure. Get to that spot that you want to grind more, slow down, and apply more pressure. Follow through, lighten up, move fast again. It allows you to maintain your grind line. Every time you lift or rock or anything, you lose what you're doing. So it all comes together fairly quick if you follow these simple rules. Is it the power source? I've never seen a baiter slow down and almost stop. Like these things usually are unstoppable. What's that? They do? Wow. Usually a baiter's like a tank. There's no stopping it. I was wondering if, I was wondering with the hookup if we're getting a lot of voltage drop. But remember the days when you first started making knives, you would sit in front of the television in order to deal with the tedium of polishing a blade with a piece of sandpaper, doing this for like 3 days. It's because you were still trying to shape the blade when you were hand polishing instead of just polishing it. Because scratches come out in just a couple of passes with a hand polish, if that's all there are is scratches. But if you have dips, waves, and multiple grind lines, you're still polishing that crap out, and it takes days to get rid of it. So the way to maximize your efficiency and make money at this is make it so your hand polish only takes 15, 20 minutes, even on a blade this size. And you do that by one smooth as glass level grind line. And then all you're doing is removing scratches. They go away just like that.